I We're live. Thank you, Peter. And good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Glens Industrial Development Agency meeting. It is September 16th. Thank you all for agreeing to have our meeting move from September 11th to today. We all have other things to do on September 11th. I'm not sure what, but I think a few things. We do have a quorum. For this meeting today, two members are not able to join us, Denise Conklin and Dr. John Cordes, but we do have a quorum with everyone else here, and so we're going to proceed. We also have our staff and key advisors and consultants, and we have some guests here as well, so welcome. In a minute, I'll turn it over to Jeff Flagg, but first, let's see. Before we do administrative reports with Jeff, why don't we just do our minutes first? We've had two meetings over the summer. One was a regular meeting on July 10th, and the other was a special board meeting that we held on August 14th to consider a project as well as a public meeting for that project. Everyone's got copies of those minutes. Are there any questions or comments on those? Okay, there being none, we can do both at the same time. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from both July 10th and August 14th?
So
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are approved, thank you. And we'll get those posted to Suzanne to the website right away. Before we do financial reports, let me go back to Jeff Flagg. I do not have a report today, but we have three projects. We don't have any resolutions related to those projects, but we have project reports. And Jeff, if you want to go right to that,
Yeah.
or whatever other.
That's great. Thank you, Judy. So, after a fairly long, quiet spell with respect to IDA activity, once we had the Bonaccio project done, there's been a flurry of projects. One, I will defer to Kara in just a minute to see if we have an update. The projects that the IDA has been either approved, looking at, trying to approve, working through, negotiating with, accepting applications for, negotiating with applications for. There's about 4 or 5. And so just to summarize sort of where we are, now that we're getting through the year, as you all know, we did approve support for Crew Coffee and their project over on Tech Meadows. They seem to be still having some financing problems. I haven't seen anything terribly recent with respect to them. Kara, do you?
So the holdup at this point is with respect to environmental, because when there was some work done previously at the site, DEC was involved with some of the infrastructure, is what I'm understanding. I apologize because I don't really truly understand exactly what's going on. The financing is approved, but the contractor wants to know, and now this leads into the financing because of the potential environmental issue. The contractor wants to know, when they start disturbing the soil, is there any special, and are there any special steps that need to be taken with the procedure to hold or further test any of these, any of the soil materials? So DEC is coming, I guess, next week, out to the site, and we've been invited if someone would like to attend, and they're gonna look over the past reports, the current reports, and decide if there's going to need to be anything special done when the property is disturbed.
Okay, yeah.
Do you know who the contractor is?
V&H Construction.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You've been able to find all the documents you need about the remediation, right?
Yeah.
Because we had a clear bill of health for that property.
I'm wondering whether we're worried about, that is adjacent to the DEC, the Brownfield site property.
Which was not.
And I think because it's an SBA loan, they are more sensitive to the issue. I
Yeah.
don't know, but that's what the meeting is about, to
Yeah.
determine. The contractor, I understand, and was concerned about what, if anything, they needed to do. They wanted to be sure they did it up front if the DEC was gonna require something. That was part of the paperwork we were looking for. We kind of came to the conclusion it didn't exist, a procedure for remediation, because no one seemed to have anything. But then I believe they were required to take that next step further, and make sure that that was the case.
I wonder if they're doing work with Venaccio, because there's an issue on the South Street site. I don't know if you're aware, but
I don't,
if you go by the South Street site for a new construction, and if you see soil that's covered, it's because the soil they dug up there was deemed to be, have some issue, and that's why they had to cover it.
Where are you talking about?
South Street,
On the new
new
building?
construction, yep.
Because we did a phase 2 actually there, before they moved in, and they got it cleaned out, they did several wells over
There's a
there.
soil contamination issue. If you go by, you'll see soil covered, and that's,
So you're assuming it is because you see it covered?
no, I know it is, I've been told that it's contaminated.
So that,
I'm wondering at T&H, sometimes they do.
presumably that would be soil that would have to be removed then.
Yes, it's gotta be removed,
Can't
and
be
they've
put
gotta
back.
find a place to remove it to.
Yeah, one of the issues that they did have there, as we know, is that there was a foundation of a building there when they started digging, right? So they had, when they began digging the foundation there, they found essentially, I think it was an old A&P from.
It was
back when,
A&P.
that they found the foundation there, and they had to sort of take that out. When they started digging, there was concerns that, the trees in the sidewalk that were along the street were going to sort of collapse in. So we ended up taking those out to give them a way to actually finish digging out the whole previous foundation. So, I mean, a lot of that is construction, there's all construction debris. I don't know if that's what you're referring to,
Well,
or
we
something.
did have when we had the trolley, which was, we're talking, 1885 through 1910, whatever. The trolley stop was in that vicinity. I wonder if that was like,
Part of that.
oil or, whatever,
Okay.
Yeah,
So back to, the DEC is meeting the owner and they're looking at those documents. Are they?
They're meeting
They're
out
They're meeting at the site.
Yeah, I'm going out, I think it's Wednesday morning, next
let me
Wednesday morning,
see.
a week from tomorrow. So I'll plan to go out there and meet with them as well.
I mean, stay on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've been very, keeping us in the loop as to the status. It just hasn't been,
Hopefully they just-
unfortunately, scheduling a closing.
Hopefully they just want to, be, overcautious.
Yeah.
I can read you exactly what the message says. The meeting with DEC is on Wednesday, the 24th at 10 a.m. They will be touring the site with Rob Holbrook from V&H Construction and reviewing protection of the testing wells and compliance with handling of soil from identified positive testing spots on the property. There is no invasive testing or actions occurring, just a walkthrough to discuss items. If you or anyone would like to join,
Probably makes sense.
you're welcome.
Right.
So let us, keep us advised on
Yeah,
that,
I'll
so
let you
that
know what's going on.
hopefully that project's gonna go forward.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it doesn't sound like.
It doesn't sound like it's not, it just sounds like there's a lot of people sitting there.
And I'm guessing suspended to the adjacent property. A lot of times there's, blooms that we're gonna call it, migration over from previous sites onto these, so I think they probably just have to make sure. As you also know, moving forward a little bit, the Ryan Connor, of course, got his, he's cleared, so he's all good to go for his project, that's Union Square, of course. A quick update on, as I believe you all know, with respect to our UTP, our UTEP, Uniform Tax Exempt Policy, we weren't able to look at a couple of Chris Patton's projects, right? He's working on the Rite Aid. He's also applied with the Warren Washington IDA for support for the Glen Street project as well.
That hearing was yesterday, right?
Yeah, it was approved, the hearing was yesterday at noon, and then the project was approved at their meeting at 4 o'clock.
So that's gonna be moving forward.
And that's housing, or
That's
residential
residential.
only?
Yes,
I should also mention that there were 2 people at the public hearing that spoke in favor of the project and moving forward. They had some questions, but they were favorable to the project.
Well, good. Well, yeah, so he's moving forward with that, and he's got 3 different projects now, he's doing that simultaneously,
So
so.
one of, this project that we have a pilot on, the blue building, I can't remember the address, but on South Street.
46.
I was at the planning board meeting for another matter, and he was there for that. He had to do, he didn't have to, but he wanted to do a change design to the front of the building. And he told me that he's got 5 commercial spaces on the first floor, and 4 of them he already has letters of intent for. But those potential commercial residents wanted some type of overhang,
On,
yes.
yeah,
Cantilever,
cantilever.
Cantilever.
That
And
was
in
on
order-
the agenda, yeah.
Yeah, and that was on the planning board agenda, and it got approved. And he hadn't thought of it himself before, but these 4 potential, I guess, commercial tenants brought it up as an issue that they wanted something. And it's a little complicated because of the brick of how he needs to put that up. So it's all one canopy and not 5
Right, not
different ones.
individual ones across.
So, yes, but anyways, that got approved, so.
Okay, yeah, and that was actually the first meeting they had over at the end, as far as
Yep.
the city municipal meeting.
It was.
Okay, so we have a prospective applicant, who I've been talking to for a few weeks now, looking at the property over at 178 Maple, 178, 180 Maple. This project's a little bit complicated by the fact that it has potentially historic tax credits. Also, as you might remember, there's a Restore New York grant that the city had gotten on behalf of this for the, well, called the current owner as opposed to the previous owner, since I don't think these folks own it yet. But the current owner, the Restore New York grant, without going too deep in the weeds, is actually a city grant. The city applies, the city receives the grant for the property. So there doesn't seem to be any problem with sort of transferring, if you will, since we're not as a city grant. Now, this is something that, the developer, pays for all the things, the developer, comes up with whatever match is required as they determine the grant. So there's no impact financially from the city, but the city, and I think the reason that's done is so that municipalities, for the purposes of these Restore New York projects, are looking for old, abandoned, sometimes historic buildings. They want to make sure that the city has the ability, the municipality has the ability to weigh in on these things, which is why it becomes a municipal grant as opposed to some individual saying, I'm going to buy it, down this building. So I'm hoping to get an application together by the next meeting, and we can take a look at that one as we go. That puts us into sort of the one immediate project that we're looking at, is the Post-Art property. The address of that?
76 Lawrence.
76 Lawrence, right? Everybody just calls it the Post-Art property, so I can't remember the address, but
When we worked there, by the way, it was called, the address was the corner of Lawrence and there was no number.
Right.
no number, there wasn't no file for an address. The folks, we have here the owner, Morris Friedman, and Tyler Franke representing the owner for the property over there. This is a property that, as you guys know, has been abandoned, has been vacant for a long time. Morris came and bought this probably about
April 24th.
April 24th, about a year and a half ago, is what I thought. We came in and met, as soon as they bought the property, we're sort of open to looking at different things. As you know, it's sort of a complex of buildings, so there may be some opportunities in the rest of the parcels. But, sort of catering to the current demands that we have. For the office building, the one on the corner there, they're looking at building, converting into an apartment building. There have been a few different iterations of that. The original version, I think, or one of the versions that was submitted to the planning board was a couple floors. And so they've scaled that back a little bit, are going to use, I believe, the existing footprint largely, or existing frame of the building, and are looking to get some support from the IDA as well. You guys want to come on over and just talk about
Is that 100% residential?
Yes, but does have a commercial, there's a commercial piece in it as well.
Yeah,
So I don't know if you or
Before,
both of you or either
before
one.
we do project reports, why don't we finish our
All right,
administrative
let's
reports?
take that for a minute, sure.
Okay, so are you done with your CEO
Yes.
report? You are, okay. And I have no chair report, but I would like to do the financial reports
Gotcha.
and finish that first. So we have financial reports for July and for August. And Mark Toomey's here with us today. Mark, do you want to do a quick summary?
No, we didn't write any checks for August, so it was all July activity. The patent check revenue for $37,500. Audit, Anderson Advisory for $1,500 expense. CEO wage, second quarter, $1,625. One legal bill for Fitzgerald, $688. My June hours, $276. And farm grant check for $2,000. That's it.
John, as we get closer to the end of the year, we start to move into our last quarter. Are there any things that we need to do related to preparing for an audit? Did we already select an auditor for 2024, 2025?
Yeah.
Not yet. So let's deal with that next month, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, let me know.
Do we go out to
Do
bid?
we need to go out to bid? If you would take a look at that and get back to me
We
right
do,
away.
right.
We'll take a look at that, but I don't know that we do, but I will figure it out. We'll figure it out together.
Okay.
The three of us.
All right.
Mark and I.
Thank you. We don't have a lot of time, and we're gonna go out to bid, so let's get that. All right.
Good.
So, so we do have 5 bills. Any questions? Any questions at all for Mark or for Jeff? Anything on financial reports? Okay, so is there a motion to approve both the July report and the August report?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is passed, reports are approved, and we'll get those posted. And then we have 5 bills for this month, for September, and they're listed under Schedule A. It's a total of $1,578.99. Any questions on that? There being none, is there a motion to approve paying the bills as reported in
So
Schedule A?
moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is, any nays, any abstentions? There being none, motion is passed, and we'll get those bills paid today. Thank you. So now, we will go to project reports, and we have, will you introduce our guest?
Yeah, so as I said, and this is Morris Friedman, is the owner of the building over here, and Fronte. Do one or both of you just wanted to, we got some seats here, if you wouldn't mind just coming over. What I asked them to do when they were changing the plans, and if I'm not mistaken, you guys are in front of the planning board again here.
Yeah, so we're back in front of the planning board. We had a meeting October 1st. We got our original approval in May this year.
And this is for the
This
previous,
is for, we had about 40 units. We were raising, we were going up an extra floor. We scaled it back significantly. So this is the latest prototype that we have that's in front of the planning board for October 1st. So our new proposal is 22 apartments and about 500 square feet of commercial space. We do have an end user that we're speaking to right now. We're not sharing that yet per their request, but happy to share as we get a little further along. But let me take a few steps back. So we brought the property April 24. The intention was never to do apartments, okay? So we're hoping to reuse the buildings, the warehouses, and repurpose it. When we made the acquisition, it was the building, significant deferred maintenance. There were people hanging out in there, broken glass. I mean, it wasn't secure, so we went through, we spent the money, secured the buildings, did some facade upgrades to like the warehouse to preserve them, fixed the roofs if we had to. And so that we marketed the property for about a year. We had a couple of users that we spoke to locally, but we didn't get anywhere. So we went back as a team and we had a pivot. So that's why we got to apartments. Talked to some folks, There's some positive feedback, and this part of the city was, targeted potential upside for apartments here. So that's why we're here today, so.
Is the main building gonna be the commercial and then the new part that you're building on?
The section of the new, so we're not adding any addition to the building, we're bumping out a small portion, so there's an overhang right now in the building that where the commercial shop will be,
Okay.
out the back. But the apartments will all be the
In
existing
the
footprint.
current
And
existing.
what's the square footage for the commercial again?
About 500 square feet.
Okay.
Plus or minus.
Did I see a comment, and forgive me for not being able to say where, but I think even it was yesterday that I saw that you were maybe adding some more green space so that you didn't have to go back to the.
That's correct, to the zoning board, yeah, so we're gonna add additional green space in our calculations.
Just tearing up some of the
Yeah,
parking lot
exactly.
and
Yep.
putting in some green space so that it meets the requirements.
Green space.
Percentages.
Perfect.
Correct.
Do you have an interested party on the commercial space? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, we have, there's a local woman who has a business here in Glens, been here for a long time, who's interested in this space. So,
Maybe send Jeff a copy of that LOI if you have one, so he
Yep.
has it.
Well, we were gonna get it approved first before, but
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, so, just so we can clarify, so you had submitted original plans, and can you just briefly go through what you had submitted previously? Because I believe our original, you had submitted sort of a drafted application, and I think that reflected the earlier version,
Yep.
right? So we're working on getting this sort of refined so that it fits more accurately what, obviously, what you got, or what you're assuming you'll get based on the planning board for the next month.
Yeah, so we've been working with Devin at the planning board, so the application in front of you now reflects the build out of this amount of units and the retail space. Likely be a coffee or breakfast user we're speaking to.
And was it just, what prompted you to sort of scale it back? Was it just a
It was just
Budget
cost,
constraints?
yeah, to add a second floor, third floor into the building, it just
The construction costs.
Yeah, it's through the roof.
Okay. And
So
what,
that was the reason it wasn't because of pushback from.
No, we actually, the city loved the project. It was very positive, we didn't have really any pushback whatsoever.
Well, and I think that there were people screaming, and I just wanted to, not in the city, not in the planning board,
Yeah.
but there are people who are scared of change. And so I just wanted to make sure that wasn't the reason, because I didn't want that to be the reason. If it's because you needed to scale it back to make it fit your needs and desires, then great. If not, I would have done it upset.
We got
yeah,
approved.
they already had the original.
Yeah.
That's why I was concerned about what drove
I'll
the.
explain, originally we had 33 units. That's the plan, that we were thinking to build that out. But then, when everybody made the numbers, it was becoming too dangerous to keep while you rip off the roof, to keep the facade and everything. It became so expensive, so we calculated, it didn't make any sense to have 33, so we came up, we're not gonna touch anything in the structure. That brought it to 22 units, plus the commercial outside here. Made it more sense.
So you still have enough parking?
Oh,
Yeah, there's
Pretty
a,
minimal parking.
I was gonna say, that was actually one question I had, given the size of that entire lot.
I didn't know.
Because I know those people.
Did the planning board have they asked you like what the theoretical disposition is of the rest of the property? I know that when you have these, is segmentation not an issue for a project like this?
I think that there are four tax map numbers already, but I mean, I don't think you.
Are the other parcels that are, is that, the remainder of that property that you have, is that separate parcels?
Not today.
They're not
You
separate?
get one tax, one tax bill?
Across.
It's all one lot, but this is all one lot.
It is.
All one,
This
it
is
didn't get
all one,
merged,
yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Well,
Um,
then
yeah.
you'll have to segregate.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, have you talked about plans, whether you wanna share them or not at this point? Have you looked at possibilities, or are you still open for the remainder of the
Most
property?
eventually, when this is done, and we see success in it, we would like to develop the whole property.
Yeah.
We wouldn't want to leave the sheds outside there. It doesn't bring we had a lot of problems. We had, when the post was there, the post told they had the police every day there. Coming there with drugs and was full with squares, all the pieces. So what we did, just to have somebody coming steady around to the property, We check it every second day, and we border up everything, and we cleaned up, our property's clean, if you go there now, it looks like mint property, everything. So,
That's good.
so that's what, eventually I want to develop property.
Have you had an environmental review done or a phase 1 report done?
We had phase 1 and phase 2.
You did it.
Post-star had that, and we got a state,
Then we
we
updated
got a letter from the
the
state,
further action from DEC.
from the state that it's
That's very
everything clear, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, and one of the things that's interesting, because I mean, this is sort of a, you know, people see the sort of quasi second story there, and you sort of say, well, you know, are you adding on to that? That's actually the original footprint of the building that it is now. It's interesting the way you sort of laid it out, because I know you have some first floor apartments, you have some second floor apartments in the back part, and then you have a couple of lofts that are along the one side, which is sort of a unique way, you know, an unusual way, a creative way, I think, of being able to use those spaces. So that's great. Yeah, I think it's good. Okay, so
Have
then,
you shared with Jeff yet the square footage of the apartments and the size?
yeah, we have the plans.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I forwarded them. I thought if I didn't, I can't. But yeah, so my understanding is you were in front of the planning board with these plans for October 1st? Okay. And assuming, based on the fact that you already got approved for something.
You're done. Yeah.
It seems hard to imagine that will be sort of a done deal. And then we have, you had submitted revised application to me that we'll formally submit here very shortly, as soon as I just go over that and make sure that there's no problems with that.
Have you determined yet what the rents were going to be? And if you have not, if you would go through that and share that with Jeff too, so we have an idea of if the rents for the apartments are going to be to what kind of income group?
It'll be around $13.50 on average.
Okay. So
Market rate.
give us those numbers by
So
unit
we
size
shared
so
it.
we have it.
Yeah, I think those are in.
We shared it.
Okay, we have those. So.
Well, it's certainly, thank you for investing in the East End. That building was every elementary school in Jackson Heights toured that building in the old print presses of the Post-Star. You know, and before that, the train station, right? And so it is truly thank you for the investment, and know that we support you both at the city government and here at the IDA. This is a great first step, and what we've seen is when people invest as you have, it builds momentum, and we're hoping that as we move forward with our brownfield opportunity area, that the whole East End continue to benefit. We're asking the governor to help us with the East Field, which is the playground right on the other side of the block. I am familiar with the property pretty well.
Oh, really?
I rent space about a block and a half away of another building for my clothing business, and I also live another block the other way, and my family, my grandfather worked at the t-shirt factory 100 years ago or however long ago. So the point is that I did know about the squatters. I didn't know they were in the building, but we knew that they were on the property. We had addressed it, and we were unable to address it. The homelessness has been hidden in our community for a long time. And with the last couple of years, the population homelessness across this country rising 18-12% a year, year after year, it's finally visible in Glens Falls. But people were, if you were from that neighborhood, you knew what it was, and you were scared to be on that last piece of the bike trail, because they were, and the Post-Star, because they weren't active in the building. It became the spot, and not many people knew about it, but I certainly did, and thank you for cleaning it up the way you did. I'm glad that our police forces, I know that talking to the chief, that you contacted them, and we worked together, and we got that straightened out, and it's important. Go ahead.
There was a lot of drugs also there, I mean,
The couch, it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
now,
Inside?
Couch outside, needles everywhere.
it was each building you had people.
The couch I knew underneath the couch and all the belongings
Yeah, we
on
cleaned
the
that out
outside,
there.
but I didn't know that it actually gotten in
Okay.
into, inside the building. I mean, your actual main building. I knew that we're under that, where they kept the sand for the rodeo.
That's
I
gone.
assumed that we got the sand out.
Yeah, everything's
Yeah.
out, they had their stuff with the trailer there, I don't know how many years.
They moved it somewhere else. Yeah.
And do you know why that was?
It's been there
Just so you
since-
know,
Why
It
was-
was twice a year for the
Because-
rodeo.
the head of the rodeo was the CEO of the publisher of the Post-Star. And
He
so-
wrote, yes.
Yeah,
He
he wrote
started
it, he had his
Yeah, he
farm
was.
and stuff, so.
Did he
was
build
like,
a
oh,
pole
you
barn
can
just for the sand?
Yeah.
That's what it was for?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, just so you guys know, and we can talk a lot more about this, the mayor
Yeah.
alluded to this brownfield opportunity area, the city recently got a grant. And we actually have 2 grants, one from the state to sort of look at that whole first ward, essentially, the area from Warren Street all the way up to Dick's. Properties there for possible reuse, remediation, if there is any need, cleanup, repurposing. There's also an EPA brownfield assessment grant that can also be used for remediation and or reuse planning. So I know you said you've gotten sort of a clean bill of health. If we find out that there's anything even minor, like old asbestos, if there's any oil tanks anywhere, if there's any, that can help you. You know, maybe small problems can be addressed, through these things. So, obviously we don't look for anything, but if there is anything, so we can talk a little bit more about, once you get through this process, how we might be able to sort of use that parcel, that big property.
next steps when this is done and established, like you said, and it's generating income as you develop the ideas for the other parts of the property. By that point, we should be done with this and getting the full designation, and I think the momentum will help, so we may be able to help you again.
Thank you.
And assuming that everything looks great, so we'll be able to take this up formally at the next meeting, which will be October,
Whatever.
9th or something like that.
Should have hopefully planned.
And you're right, that's what, if you have your planning board approval, we'll be in good shape for that.
Concerning the criminal issues, have you had to add obviously you've removed a lot of this, but has it moved out of the neighborhood? Is it still nearby, do you know? And have you had to add security to the site in order to prevent it from coming
In
back?
this area, right now, this property, there's nothing. There's no,
Because you're
everything-
providing security there?
I have a guy coming in
Yeah.
there, let's say, like, comes in every second day, goes through the property, go inside, like the main building, the other ones, he could see the doors was open up, and he walks in, so he goes, first of all, I asked him, for example, it's a guy who does the maintenance, the landscaping, so I told him, you gotta keep your stuff in one of the properties, it's in one of the sheds, so people see there's traffic here.
Presence, yeah.
There's not that it's a lonely property, that helped a lot.
And we also secured all the buildings.
All the
put
buildings are
locks
secured.
on.
Have you added lighting or any kind of cameras?
We didn't put cameras on
Cameras,
it.
but lighting, we
Lighting we
changed
had
it
in
out
there,
so
yeah.
the bulbs were out.
Do you have any sense of where the crime is moved? Is it,
I
what's
haven't-
moved over to Ridge Street?
I do not know.
I don't know.
No.
Right.
I'm happy it's
That
all
can't- Right, exactly.
Well,
That's my concern.
in order to get $1,300 a month for rent, I do think that you need to make sure that the neighborhood, not just your property, but the neighborhood.
They were camped out there, and I'm pretty sure, Judy, you could tie a lot of those folks to our park and to our bus stop
Okay.
and to 26 Leonard that is in front of, that is currently we're trying to close, and the other property. So, I can tell you all about where they are.
Okay.
I'll do this.
All
We
right.
know them well. This is Glens Falls. This is not, it's funny, the folks that are struggling are all receiving a variety of services that have been thrown out of every project that we have, and they're well known. It's the reason that we don't chase the kids on the bike. It's like, well, we don't need to chase them. We know where he lives. Let's go talk to his parents, right, or whatever. So we know exactly.
I just would encourage you guys to also, as part of your plan, make sure you've got good exterior lighting and
Oh, yeah.
maybe some cameras.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's
Eventually
the
putting
plan.
on cameras, it's gonna be full, the
100%.
property is gonna be full camera.
Okay.
Great.
I know one thing, all around that the area, like the next block or two, I don't see any more homeless people.
Right.
When I drive
They
around,
moved off.
I don't see anymore.
Thank you.
That was
That's
a
great.
big order for them to stick around.
Yeah.
That's gone, so it's,
And as you mentioned, the cops said they're all the same people they know.
Oh,
Yeah.
There's an encampment down by the river,
Yeah.
wastewater treatment plant. There's ones over by the canal, right there. About 400 people we estimate here in Glens Falls right now that are homeless or on and off people's couches. And so that number, it doesn't really change much. It's just that people will notice it, right? They had a nice quiet place. And it was really between their property and Leonard Street, where, right across the street from where Mayor Cronin lived, right? And so that's where there was a series of bushes that made that, in particularly, a great spot for them. To the point where they were storing their belongings in the corner and then going to the soup kitchen and getting a meal and coming back. It was,
It's where they live.
it was expensive when, I think it was right before you purchased the property that I became aware of, so.
at one point, the cops asked me actually, because when you got people right on the spot, who you're talking next to the bushes there.
Yeah,
So the cops asked us that we should arrest them. If you give them the, so yeah, go ahead. The cops said you gotta arrest them once to try to stop them, so you do whatever you have to do.
Yeah, sure.
yeah. And that's the great thing about Glens Falls, right? The cops know
Yeah,
those
very
folks,
helpful.
they're from here, they're in the area, they know the story, and a lot of people are reluctant to call them, or reluctant to have a person arrested, and it's not like we're throwing them in jail, right? It's a matter of saying, this is not okay anymore.
That's it.
And I'm glad it was effective, and thank you, and continue to call them if you need anything, they know, and they appreciate it.
So, I'll work with Jeff to make sure that your application is final and complete. Once you have your planning board approval, we'll get a copy of that application out to all the members. It'll also go public online, and then we'll get you set up for the next meeting. In addition to it being a regular board meeting, it will be a public hearing, and the public would be invited to come in and comment, and we'll ask you to make a presentation at that time as well.
It would not be necessary for you to tell us who your potential commercial tenant is, as long as you have a commercial space and you know the dimensions. That would be sufficient for our purposes.
Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you don't mind, that'd be great.
Thank you, all the best.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All the best.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch shortly.
Thank you.
Is that yours or?
That is mine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
All right. That is all mine.
Anything more on this at all? Is there, I don't think your application's final, right?
They just sent me a recently revised version. You do not have it yet.
Okay, very good.
I need to say yes.
Any other update on South Street projects?
No.
No? Okay.
We have a date set for the groundbreaking for phase 2, and I don't know if that's,
We need to talk about that beyond this evening.
Okay. And everything's going forward on Union Square. Has he started construction? Do you know?
Yeah, a little.
A little bit.
Okay.
He had been sort of
He's
fudging
got,
around.
he's got people trying to clear it out and all that nifty stuff. So.
Okay. Any other business? Jeff, anything else?
No.
There being none, there's no need to go into executive session, so I'm going to, our next meeting is, October 9th, and so we probably will add that, public hearing to that, schedule, assuming that
You
that
probably
application's
can't.
final.
No,
No.
you probably
Too
don't
late.
have time, yeah.
Right, because we're at the 16th
Oh,
already.
yeah.
Right.
Right, right, we're late.
Yeah.
So that meeting's gonna be on us before we know it. It'll be November.
You probably can't, because we would need everything.
For what?
We would need,
Application.
give me a minute and we can, oh, give me 1 minute.
'Cause I don't wanna change the date of this.
No, we've been changing dates. You're right, we have to be back, because we say we're the
So we'll
first
move it to
Thursday of the
November.
month.
Okay, we might have to move them to November.
What, these guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, because of public hearing, we don't have enough time to announce the public hearing.
If I have everything by Thursday, that means I need everything by Thursday at 10, so tomorrow.
No, it's only Tuesday. That could be a whole other day.
Yeah,
right.
so, but I would, and then we would have time to send out, we would have a couple more days to send out the notice of tax and jurisdiction. But that letter, the tax and jurisdictions has to set out what the proposed pilot is gonna be. So we would have to figure out what that proposal is.
And so
Have they
that's
given
The
you
notice I can get in, but
These guys,
Yeah,
as far as,
what they want, what they're looking for.
yes, I believe they have.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm
You don't have time
traveling,
to
I'm
have
leaving
that
and heading out of
conversation.
town, so
No.
I can't do that.
Um,
So, November,
Well,
I
is it
mean-
possible, can we, if we have the meeting, we can have the meeting on the, is it the 9th? That was-
Yeah,
Yeah.
October 9th.
Can we can accept the application on the 9th, can we schedule the hearing for sometime before November?
yeah, we can do that.
Have a special
I mean, we
meeting.
can
Have a
if
special
it's-
meeting.
If it's that time sensitive for them, I'm not sure that it is.
Okay. Yeah, we can have a special meeting and it's,
but yes, we can have them like October 9th, but we don't have enough time to
Do a public.
No, I understand.
Okay.
I don't think the plan was to have a public hearing day.
Okay, all right.
Anyway, but preferably maybe before, if we have to have a special meeting for that, it's possible.
we could have one
I'll
at the
see
end of
what they're-
October.
Yeah.
Okay, all right,
That's
all right. So we're on for October 9th at 8 AM, and I have no other business. We've approved everything, we're in pretty good shape. So I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor? We are adjourned. Mayor, turn it over to you.
Great, thank you. It's still, welcome to the Glens Falls, Greater Glens Falls Local Development Corporation meeting. It's still September 16th. We'll call this meeting to order. We have a quorum. We still have our key advisors and consultants. Administrative reports. We have the minutes for the regular meeting held on July 10th. And any questions about that? It's in your packet. Any questions about the minutes, corrections? Never hearing any. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
And a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carried. Financial reports. We had 7 months ending July 31st and another 8 months ending August 31st. I believe that's in your packet. Mark, any statement about or comments on the financials?
Everything happened in July, no revenue again for either month. Fitzgerald bill for $480, Gene Laffer's bill for the audit for $1,800, second quarter CEO wage $1,625, and my June hours for $414. That's it.
Great. Any questions? Do you have a motion to approve financial reports?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, thank you. SBS project completion, talk of the town, request for payment.
So, yeah, this is just a report basically to the board. Before we get to the Schedule A, Oliver Cockley came in a week or so ago and provided the rest of the documents that we needed in order to be able to kind of close the file out. So we have 2 different bids and all of the documentation set aside like we normally do. And I just wanted to report that it's done, that he's done, that the project is done, and it looks great.
The signage isn't approved yet.
The sign still needs, sorry, yes, that's correct. The sign is still going through the planning board, right, Jeff? Is
Right, for the sign approval.
But the rest of it is done.
So we're not covering the sign, so all the work that we're doing is.
Correct, yeah. His total bill was $62,000, and we only needed 50 in order to 50,
To
payment
do
to
match.
Okay.
Yep. So that
Are
was,
we headed to eat there again?
what's that?
Are we
Yes,
permitted?
absolutely, yes.
Yes.
He He in fact told Jeff and I that we needed to come over for lunch, so we're planning to do that.
I'm sure he charges you double.
And then we'll submit that as a bill to you. So that was it, I just wanted to make sure that that everybody was all clear that the project was done before we got to the payment.
Before we paid them.
That's right.
I drive by and watch it every day, so.
If no one.
It looks great.
It does, you
Yeah.
did good work, you did good work, I had some
It looks
stuff that was-
appropriate and yet it looks fresh. I mean, they really, you know, threaded that needle.
I don't know
When
who
we
that
talked about-
contractor was, but I think he did do a good job.
I forget, I forget, do you
They were
remember?
good.
Who did the
Who
work?
did the work at Tap of the Town, Talk of the Town?
No.
I can actually get the
Probably best if
information.
we don't mention it,
Right.
because I struggled with the encroachment permits and, people, complaining. I had some folks on the council who like to examine encroachment permits, and apparently, they had not applied, and so anyway, I'm glad it's all over, I'm glad the work is
Over the
done.
sidewalk.
Yeah.
They removed the encroachment. Okay.
So the great benefit of it is that Paul said that the money really helped them, because as they got into the project, there was actually more issues on the facade than
Sure there
there
were.
was.
Yeah.
And so they got it all cleaned up and set, got the lights done, got the rest of the facade cleaned up. They're waiting on the sign to be approved, but he's very happy, and we're happy to be able to help.
Yeah.
A business.
Never realized-
Absolutely.
I didn't realize how tired the building looked until you saw it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you
he's
get used
very
to it,
appreciative.
right?
Yeah,
You know, it is,
yeah.
And so, I agree.
So that's it, that's the end of the report.
Great. Moving on to the payment of the bills, Schedule A, I believe you have in your documents. Mark, you want to talk about Schedule A?
Just, my July, August hours for 288 and 283, Fitzgerald bill for 368, and Store Technology, our annual, charge for 599, totaling $1,539.38.
And then the talk of the town.
And for
No.
25,000.
I have, yeah,
Right.
I have 26,500.
Right, that's because all the talk of the town is added on there too. Right.
Okay,
So our own expenses are much smaller.
yes.
So and that Store Technology is the backup, which we started here back about a year ago, when we realized that it was not being properly set, and so we contracted, the agencies as contracted with Store Tech to make sure that all of our data is backed up in the same way that it is in C.
Weekly, weekly backups?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. And the 600 or 599.88?
Is the year.
That's for the year, yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, I listened for that too.
That's the whole year.
All right, great, that's good, that's
Yeah.
good news. Okay, for Schedule A, is there anybody who'd like to make a motion?
So moved.
You have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Any opposed? Schedule, let's pay the bills. Do we have any other reports? Jeff? Pat?
Just one quick one about back there, the 36A. So as you know, that we I enlisted AJ Architecture to do the interior design work. We had a slight delay in getting the design work done for the construction documents. It was supposed to be on a council meeting a few weeks ago that never occurred. So we ended up having to push that back a couple of weeks. We did get that approved last week, so they're coming up with the construction documents. We plan on putting out bids within the next week or so.
So,
Do you need us at the do you need someone from here at the council meeting for that?
No, that's already been, the services to get the work done has already been approved. What they're the one thing it did hold up is they're gonna end up doing the general contracting and the MEP work, mechanical, electrical, plumbing work, as separate bids, because they still need some design work. That was contingent on that approval. So we're gonna move ahead with the general construction bids initially. They were gonna be separated anyway, it's just a question of whether they were done simultaneously. So we're actually gonna hold that back, which won't.
And that's just the first floor, it doesn't impact what's going on
Correct.
with the residential units.
Correct.
Because they
Or
seem
the
to be
basement.
making good progress.
Well, and I think we're making good, I think we're full steam ahead on this. We're just getting it through the council and, you know, picking Andy to do the design work and we should do the same. We should go straight out. How close are they to done with their?
They're still looking at mid-November, to have the rest of the buildings, and that would be the 3 other buildings. They have tentative tenants for both of the South Street commercial spaces. We're actually in a conversation with one of them about possible support to the SBS. As you may or may not, and we're also in conversation with a few people who are looking at these properties across the street. As you know, we sort of have been trying to prioritize retail businesses. You know, there's been a lot of discussion in the last couple of years about sort of emphasizing, retail specifically to sort of generate foot traffic downtown. That sort of goes all the way back to, if you'll remember, the DRI originally, the GF Drive project was originally called, in its iteration was called the Retail Race for Space. So, we're a little bit behind the curve as far as that. We ended up deferring to a lot of other kinds of businesses, particularly food and beverage. But we're now looking at those. So there's a lot of interest. Most of the businesses that Chris Patton is talking to, again informally, as far as publicly, are retailers.
Nice.
So, but the empty box, 36 Inc. is pretty much ready. Next month?
Sometime next month.
Right.
So we'll be ready for
So we're hoping to be done with our design of the interior and put that out to bid and try to, I've got this wild goal of December 15th to open that market. We are meeting with,
There you go.
That's why he's at that
well, I will have cake for you there if I can pull this off. I don't know that it's possible.
Right.
But it's what
It's a good-
what we're shooting for, and we have met with Taste New York. They certainly think the facility is beautiful, and are happy to partner with us. We are meeting also with the subcontractors, which would be Cornell Cooperative Extension, I believe is who they're referring to us, because they run many of them. They're interested in the commercial kitchen. They like the ideas. They're excited. Not excited enough to move as fast as I hope they were, but excited. So, I want to make sure that, I can let you guys start to let you know as we meet if you want to come to any of those meetings. I'd love to have you there. I haven't not invited you on purpose, and it occurs to me that you really might want to be part of it. And so I'll invite everybody that's on this board to those meetings moving forward. Some of it might be a waste of your time, but I'd rather you feel invited and part of it rather than neglected, right? We're full steam ahead on this. The biggest questions we had from the council were simply like, is this part of the budget that's already passed? And the answer is yes. It's just that the budget is a wholesale budget, and now we need to move on and assign the interior design to Andy Allison. We need to buy the equipment. We need to then go out to construction on the.
Right, the vision
site.
isn't changing,
Yes.
it's just getting it done.
That's right, and we have equipment lists, so all 3 components are still in existence. The commercial kitchen, the market itself, and the wayfinding system. All 3 lists of equipment have been prepared by the people and different people, and so we're starting to purchase that equipment. Right, the ed will be year round, just to remind you too, and how it is. There's always still questions. I think people are really happy with it, but at the same time, no matter how many times we say it, it's a year-round facility that has heat and will have bathrooms. There are still people who just won't believe it until we do, right? The heaters are already purchased. We're now just getting the cutouts of the bottom panes, and we'll be pushing heat into that building. That's all being done, and so that the bathrooms, Benicio won't have done until November. And we're okay, we've got rental porta-johns. We are having an event October 1st, I think there is the theater. Wood Theater is having an event, and we're helping them rent an upscale trailer, porta-john trailer for their event, right? For us, we only needed a smaller.
When are the heating units gonna go in?
The heating units they don't go in, they're portable, they're outside, and they'll be ready whenever we get cold.
Don't they go into the lower part of the window?
They do. What happens is that panel, right now, we're working with Jim's Glass. When's the cutouts
Yes.
going in? Hopefully in the next few weeks.
So I would do some kind of, I'd make sure the media knows about that and let them go see that,
Yeah.
because that has been.
Yeah, it's
open
just,
question.
it doesn't matter,
When you
because
have
we
the
said this,
cutouts done.
we
Right,
have the
but
heaters
they have no vision.
in stores.
Right,
I know.
you have to
Show
show
them
it.
when it's-
I'm with you.
Well,
Yes.
you know, if you just want to use that as an example, you were talking about, you know, people are always resistant to change and always concerned about things. I don't know if you saw a couple weeks ago, there was a Facebook post on the farmer's market who declared, you know, as of, this is in August, that this has been the best year ever for the Gunsville Farmers Market. So they sort of, you know, it's the same issue you have here. What was the deal of saying that history may not repeat itself, but it always rhymes, you know, but, so you know, I think we're looking at the same thing here again.
Yeah, and the parking. We found parking, a designated parking, and then the tenants, and I don't wish to say anybody by name, are the ones parking on South, not in the parking spaces that we found now. And the businesses are complaining, and I'm still hearing, what are you gonna do about parking? And every time we talk about the new apartments that, are in phase 2, and they say, what are you doing about parking? And I'm saying, well, we're leasing parking, it's okay, and you know, but it just doesn't, it won't go in.
Yeah, incidentally, along those lines, a little quick transition, you had asked a little bit ago about the phase 2. So there's, the HCR has been working with Bonaccio primarily. Remember that this is not a project that has, you know, city funding or involvement in it. There's no DRI components, for instance, it's mostly with the state and the feds. But they have worked on I don't know, it's hard to call it groundbreaking entirely because they're already working. But they're gonna have an open, this is called a project opening ceremony on October 15th. I don't know if I have the time, it's sometime early afternoon.
October 15th?
Yeah, and HCR picked a date that they could go.
Fit us in.
I wanted this a month ago, but, you know, it's easy for me to say what I want. And that's why I talked to you, Judy, I'm really trying to get a hold of Darren Scott.
Yeah, 1 o'clock.
My secretary, just to.
Wednesday the 15th.
I want to play a role in it, and we want to make sure that we're getting a big splash out of this. We appreciate all that HCR has done. We appreciate what Bonaccio has done. This investment, 88 apartments, right? Workforce housing, apartments, new commercial. This is a big deal for us, and so I would love your help if I could get in connection. So I think that, please put that in your agendas and calendars. We'll send you out formal invites as well. October 15th, phase 2 becomes, well, it's already become a reality, right? They're already.
They had an official closing on the construction financing.
Yeah.
There was a closing. The tax credit investors were all there, and it went well.
We've decided that we're going to, Bonaccio on phase 1 is gonna do temporary work to the sidewalk on that portion of Elm that we couldn't do because it wasn't ready. We'll do that to get through the winter. We'll just do temporary blacktop, and so that it's a safe walkway, so when we open phase 1 and the market and the old Hot Shots building, it'll be fine. We'll get through the spring, and we've got the funding to go back in and do the paving and the sidewalks all over again. So to really do them correctly. So that's all coming together nicely. So that was it. Those are project reports. Crew coffee, we've already got the update. SBS applications, and we
Just, I'm in conversation with several businesses. I don't think we have any application. We only need a couple drafts of applications, but
Yeah, we don't have any formal applications to provide the board right now.
So I don't believe we have any other business unless anybody else does. I don't think we need an executive session. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you very much.